What up, cuz? Cash me outside. How are y'all? It's Thursty Thursday, and it's time for our romance oracle reading with the romance angels. Who's excited? I know I am. Yeah, I'm just sitting here all sweaty and dirty and nasty. I've had a really fun day. I worked out, I went for a long run, and then I had enough daylight to go wander through the woods for like a couple of hours. And I'm happy to report that near the pond where the tent was rolled up that looked like the dead body, it was gone, and that was really awesome. And there were other people around, so it wasn't really murdery this time at all. And there were many a fetching gentlemen. I swear, I go wander off into a desolate forest and it's like I'm all alone, and then all of a sudden like I'm surrounded by a hot beef. So I always like a good stroll through the forest. It makes me feel very like Jane Austen-y, like, oh, like we were wandering along the path and came upon some intriguing gentlemen. So that's always fun. It's like the disco out there. It's just like, it's lit. But yeah, so that's been my partying, and I found a cool moth on the way back. I was actually like sort of turning back earlier than I had wanted. I was out there journaling and doing a journaling exercise. To Be Magnetic has started another challenge. So we're like at the midpoint of the year, which is really fun because around January, I started their like membership or whatever when they were starting their manifestation challenge, and my manifestations, like a lot of them are coming through, and my big one is actually, that's one that I know that it's going to take a while. It's like it's a process, but that one is actually showing a lot of signs of growth. But recently I was like, I've been I had done a whole bunch of their workshops back to back. And then the last few weeks have just been like super busy. So I've just been like integrating the material and like living it and workshopping it in real life. But I was like, man, I really need to like do some more unblocking. I feel like there's something that's still blocking me from really like it's like trickling now, but I feel like the floodgates could be opened. And so they launched another challenge. It's the Unblocking challenge, and I'm like, oh my god, I manifested the challenge. But it's to get to the root of like your core limiting belief that's blocking you. So couldn't be more perfect. So I started that yesterday, and I had already had some manifestations come through, or maybe I started it the day before yesterday. Either way, I'm a couple of days in, and like stuff's moving, energy's moving, so that was very fun. So I went into the woods to do some of this journaling work for this, to usher it through this death and rebirth process. And I lost track of the time, and I realized like the sun was going down, and like the night birds started to chirp, and like I was starting to lose the light. It was getting really shadowy back there, and it was kind of scary, but I was like, ooh, liminal space is cool. And the moon was out during like the afternoon, so that was cool. And I just felt like the divine feminine presence of the moon mother, and it was really cool. And on the way back, I was listening to like shaman drums and just like processing like all the stuff that I've been writing about in my journal, and I found this really neat moth. Like I just looked down, and it was like in the grass and in the sticks and stuff, and it was like really unique pattern, and it was like I don't know, it was freshly dead, still soft. So I picked it up, and I carried it gently on a leaf and made sure that it was in fact dead, and I have it like sitting aside. I'm not gonna like do anything to it. I'm just gonna see what it does, and maybe put like a drop of water on the leaf and see if it's just like tired or resting. But I know like moths and stuff have a pretty short lifespan, so I don't know. But the moth is, I believe, also a symbol of like death and rebirth and transformation and nighttime and the depths of like the subconscious coming forth to be, gone through the transmutation of spiritual and chemical alchemy. So that's what the message I got from the moth, and I was pretty excited about that. So fun times, cool moths, cool moments in the woods. And yeah, with no further ado, I think that we should do the reading. I did make a mosquito repellent that worked, and basically it was peppermint oil, tea tree oil, lemongrass, and cinnamon. And I didn't follow the instructions. I just put like 9 or 10 drops of each thing in, and then I put warm water in and I shook it up, and it worked. I didn't get bitten up by any bugs today, so in case y'all want to make your own. All right, let's address our love lives. Do we have any love in our lives? What's good? What's good? Where can we find it? And can we have some? Let's see what we can expect for this week, how we can overcome our shortcomings. Ooh. It's always like, as soon as you're like, what can we overcome? And it's like, oh, I have plenty to tell you about. Codependency was what came up, and oh, right underneath it was children. So I feel like this is all about healing your inner child wounds to get yourself secure so that you will move out of a codependent and avoidant and anxious attachment cycles and styles, and then move into more of an interdependent, secure attachment and interdependent relationships. So it's all about healing that inner child, and you just kind of have to do that by doing this work where you go back, you know, when something triggers you, follow it back to the early parts of your life. What were the earliest memories that you can associate with feeling the way that you feel now, and maybe being triggered by a similar theme or in a similar way, and explore like how that made you feel at the time, and what did you take away from that, and have you built a defense mechanism because of that to protect yourself. And then, you know, get in touch with your inner child, and like, what would make that inner child happy? Is it quality time and play with that inner child? Does your inner child need to cut loose and play? Does your inner child need to feel safe and secure? Do you need to, like, you know, get your kingdom in order and clean your house and pay your bills and all of that stuff, or like book work or whatever you need to do to like make your inner child feel like you're taking care of the two of you? You know, is it that you need to set stronger boundaries with people? Does your inner child need to know that you can protect that child from people who would take advantage or, you know, not have their best interest at heart? So, you know, get in touch with that inner child and see what it's craving, and do the work there so that you can overcome the codependent patterns that you have. And there's no reason to beat yourself up or feel bad about codependency, or to deprive yourself in life because of codependency. I mean, we're all codependent on a spectrum, and yeah, it's just a process throughout life. It's one of the practices that we have to just constantly check in and reestablish our own sense of self and our own sense of like energetic and emotional boundaries. And you know, and as you do that, you learn to trust yourself more, and your inner child can relax more because it feels protected and secure and taken care of. All right, so codependency, children could be affecting your love life. It could also be something literal, like children could be affecting your love life. Someone might have kids, and that might affect their dating life, or your children might be affecting your dating life. But I like to usually associate that with the inner child within us. It's more something that we can have in our control to change from the inside out. But I mean, I guess it is helpful to know, to be aware that some people do have kids, and that comes up as an issue. Our last two cards are keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual expectations. So yeah, stay open. Maybe you have been thinking that you have this like one type that you like to stick to, or maybe if you're like in a relationship with someone, maybe you think that they're so set in their ways, or you have this like label about them or these ideas about them, and maybe it's time to open up your perception of that person and get to know them all over again, and keep an open mind and let them surprise you, and maybe let them prove you wrong, and maybe that would be a good thing. So keep an open mind about your love life. Keep an open mind about people that you're meeting. You know, maybe I don't know, just keep an open mind. Like I said, you could have something stretching you outside of your usual type, or expectancy. I mean, we expect our lives to like go a certain way and go to according to plan, and we do that the most with the person that we think that we're like trying to like call and attract. And like, you know, it's good to make the list and have all those like, you know, essences about someone that you want. But if you get too hung up on the exact way it's going to show up in the exact package, you could be missing out on something that you could like really like, and you never even would have thought about it. So open mind, keep an open mind, keep the mind open, the heart open, and the legs open. Only kidding. Sort of. Retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world. So maybe, you know, in the spirit of healing that inner child and getting in touch with those codependent patterns and opening your mind, maybe you just put your mind on other things and take some time to be by yourself and to reflect and to recharge and to reset. I mean, I think it's always good to have cycles of quiet reflection and to sort of be in a space of void where you're not being affected by other people's energy or expectations or attitudes or perceptions. You're just in your own energy, and I think it helps you recalibrate to be reminded of like who you are, you know, and that helps with the codependency. It's like, okay, who are you when you're in your own space, when you're doing your thing? What is your thing? Do you know what your thing is? Maybe you should find out, and maybe this is a time of self-discovery for you. So disconnect, recharge, get in touch with that inner child and see what it's craving. Maybe you want to do some finger painting. Maybe you want to do some fun crafts or art projects. Maybe inner child wants to be playful. Maybe inner child wants to make brownies tonight and eat ice cream or watch a good movie. Or maybe inner child wants to read or go to bed early or be told to like, you know, take care of inner child self. Eat your broccoli and like floss and do all those things. So yes, your needs matter. So touch base with that inner child within whose needs also mattered. And your child, you as a child, when you were a child, your needs mattered. But I know, you know, for people that are in my age range, like when we grew up, our the later millennials had parents that were like overly concerned with their needs, and they were like hover parents. But like the 80s kids, we were very, I have like concrete arm. We were very free range, but we were also like not considered, like we were almost like pets. Like we were ignored in the house, like our needs weren't really cared about that much. Like they were irrelevant. Like our emotional needs were irrelevant. Like sometimes our basic needs were irrelevant. Like we didn't even wear seatbelts back then. So, you know, getting in touch with those needs, knowing that your needs matter also, and that your needs mattered as a child too. Our parents just, it was a different time, you know, forgiving and learning, healing family issues. All right, you guys, I hope that y'all have a good night, and today you actually get to maybe watch Thursty Thursday's reading on Thursday, because I'm usually making this like really late at night when I come in from work. But yeah, I'm gonna eat some dinner, enjoy my garden. All my vegetables are starting to come up. I've got a bunch of stuff on the other side that you can't see. It's the bushy side that's really coming out. All right, be good, not too good. Ciao.